the V2 is going to be rolled in a few phases. The first one is we have to finish our redesign. We've been working on it for some time, and it will be very familiar to the current one, but much more polished, much more smoother, and we are really aiming to put things in the right places. But the V2 is mostly focused on more advanced features. As I said, the one-click trading is part of it. That's something that we wanted to put out for a long time because there are a lot of kind of not there are a lot of inconsistencies with wallets. All the wallets work differently. Some wallets support like multi-address, multi-stacking, all this technical stuff, and we want to reduce the point of failure as much as possible.
What's up, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. I'm your host here, Fareed. As a part of today's video, we're breaking down the biggest DEX aggregator right now on Cardano, which is DexHunter. I'll be joined by Melon to break down all of their latest updates and exactly what we can expect over the course of the upcoming bull market. Without any further ado, let me bring up today's guest, Melon. Welcome up, man. It's
Hey,
been a
how's it
minute.
going?
How are you?
How's it going? Yeah, doing well. It's good vibes right now on ADA for sure.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. It's been a long, brutal bear market. I know you guys were actually building a lot during the bear market, and I think you're now starting to see a little bit of the fruits of your labor during the bull market. And so I just want to start off by saying congrats, and you guys have seen a lot of activity, and you guys are cooking a lot. So as a part of today's video, I'd love to dive into what exactly we can expect and exactly what you guys have accomplished over the course of the last months. Now, for anybody who's seeing you for the very first time, Melon, you mind breaking down exactly who you are and exactly what DexHunter is?
Hey, thank you for having me. My name is Nick, or mostly known in the community as Melon. I've been working with Cardano for 4 years. We started with NFTs and switched to tokens about 18 months ago and launched DexHunter around 14 months ago. And since then, pretty much instantly became the biggest trading platform with 30% of all volume within a month going for us. And now it's, some days over 70%, but on average around 60% of all trading happens on DexHunter. So here we are now.
Nice, and thank you. I'll leave the links to your platform down below as a part of today's video. I'd be highly surprised if the viewers here aren't familiar with what you guys have already built. Now, let's talk a little bit more about what you guys have recently done and what you guys can expect to be working on moving forward. In the last couple of months, any new features that you'd like to highlight for the community?
In the last couple of months, we've been mostly working on stability and ensuring that, kind of preparing for increased volume. So that has been our primary goal within the last few months. But the next few months are going to be much more and more exciting. And a few, right on top of my head, the most highlight I think people are waiting for is one-click trading. So if you are familiar with trading, for example, on Solana, there are a lot of like Telegram bots and also the platforms that have internal balance that you can top it up and then trade without needing any wallet connection. That's basically what we're trying to bring to Cardano as well. So that's one of the things that I'm also excited about. And then some development stuff was like, for example, we want on board as many developers as possible to use and build on Cardano from small to big dApps, and we want to expose our trading APIs and all the data APIs for free to people. So that's another thing we're doing. So there are a ton of new updates. Obviously, onboarding Bitcoin liquidity next year that's planned. Uh, Bitcoin OS it's called, right? The boss is doing like this. They don't call it a bridge, but like very smooth as understood transition. So Bitcoin native tokens would be available to be transformed to Cardano native tokens, and the real fun will start there, I assume. Yeah, tons of stuff are happening in the next few months.
I mean, I think we should definitely sort of dive a little bit deeper into Bitcoin OS.
Sure.
From your platform's perspective, how do you guys see yourselves contributing to this? Obviously, getting that liquidity and actually, having people swap there. But what else does DexHunter have to offer when it comes to Bitcoin OS and those types of integrations?
Yeah, I think generally with Bitcoin and runes right now, the biggest caveat was that it's a very complex process, right? I think Magic Eden either today or yesterday, so they rolled out the swaps, but I believe it's still kind of UX thing. I haven't looked in tech, so maybe people correct me, but I assume it's just a like UX hack to just seem like it's a swap, but it's actually on the back end it's not. Because before they had basically an order book and it was kind of messy and you had to wait like 10 minutes for a swap because Bitcoin is rather, the Bitcoin blocks take way longer time. So I think if Cardano manages to kind of make these process way smoother. Obviously, we have lower block times, and yeah, so that is kind of the angle the Cardano and Bitcoin OS is taking. That is going to improve experience tremendously, and the swap times tremendously. So people will be incentivized to kind of use the bridge and then trade on Cardano, the Bitcoin stuff natively. So that's kind of the I guess the main point. Obviously, the Cardano native wallets are looking into supporting Bitcoin now. The Begin wallet, I think, already added support, and Tokyo Pay already added support for Bitcoin, as far as I know. And also, we have native Cardano lending platforms that have Bitcoin support, like Fluid tokens. They have even Rune trading as well, so lending and trading. So because the developers here know UTXO stuff from Cardano side, they kind of can work very quickly on Bitcoin, and I think that's also the advantage that our ecosystem has to onboard the Bitcoin, everything from lending to trading. But from our side, obviously, if Dex starts supporting the I think there's not much adjustment needed from our side, because it's mostly on kind of the bridge side and Dex side, so that people will be able to create those liquidity pools. From our side, obviously, we're just going to enable them and allow the common trading interface that people are used to for Cardano swaps, but for Bitcoin as well.
Yeah, I hope that you're ready for the liquidity. I'm sure you guys have been thinking about how to sort of, take advantage of that, right? Now, we have to talk about this here, Melon. This is V2. This has been teased out for quite a bit of time. There's advanced order types, there's bubble maps, DEX screener integrations, and it seems like potential multi-chain integrations as well. So what can we expect with V2? And then I have to ask as well, when can we expect V2?
All right, so the V2 is going to be rolled in a few phases. The first one is we have to finish our redesign. We've been working on it for some time, and it will be very familiar to the current one, but much more polished, much more smoother, and we are really aiming to put things in the right places, to make sure the experience is even better than now. It's quick now, but it's not really polished, so that's what we're aiming to fix. But the V2 is mostly focused on more advanced features. As I said, the one-click trading is part of it. Right, we have a Catalyst proposal for one-click trading, so community can vote for it if they would be interested for that. But that's something that we wanted to put out for a long time, because there are a lot of kind of not there are a lot of inconsistencies with wallets. All the wallets work differently. Some wallets support like multi-address, multi-stacking, all this technical stuff, and we want to reduce the point of failure as much as possible. So because there are multiple points of failure, for example, for trading, right? It can be on the transaction creation side. It can be on processing side. It can be like Dex just, has issues and stops processing orders, or it can be on wallet side. So from our side, because those issues are all kind of external, right? Like we can't really control them. We try to minimize all the angles of failure. So if we can minimize, for example, like have our own in-platform balance, and the wallet is instead, like, I think it's called smart account on Cardano, that the wallet is non-custodial, but you can basically trade it. Like, it's all technical stuff. Again, I'm not super technical, so don't quote me on that. But as I understood, we can basically enable non-custodial in-platform balance trading, so people don't rely on internal wallets and are just gonna deposit and withdraw to the smart contract as they please. So basically, yeah, doing everything to reduce the points of failure, from making sure transaction building is flawless and fast, to replacing the external wallets and having our own system. So that's kind of the point of V2. Obviously, it comes with a lot of like cool features, like advanced order types. We have had stop losses for a long time, but the maintenance costs were quite high and usage were quite low. So we had to reduce it, because we added like 6 more dexes, and for each dex we'd have to adjust it. And if like 5 to 10 people or use it, obviously a bit more, but it's not there compared to the amount of effort. So we had to reduce it, but we had put, again, for advanced orders, that's something that we really want to have. So we again have a proposal for that. So if community is interested, if it gets voted, we're gonna add it. So yeah, things like that. There's more in V2 than I can probably talk for in half an hour.
One thing I do want to ask about is leverage trading. I know that there's been, in times past, I want to say proposals. It may have been actually from DexHunter.
Yeah.
But can we expect something like that to come through as well?
So we got funded for leverage trading in our previous round. We have been busy with other things and polishing before, so we haven't really started it yet. but we're gonna look next year, early next year, how to implement that exactly, because there are a lot of different options, a lot of different lending protocols, and Liquid has seen increased TVL recently. I think they gained like, I don't know, they became number one TVL on that on Cardano, and they grew like 50%, and they are pushing their new versions as well. So maybe we're gonna implement their stuff, or the Strike Finance also launching their perpetuals, options trading, all this kind of all this leverage trading. So we will just see how best to combine and how to, what is the best for users, and maybe integrate with other platform, and we'll see how to put together. But that's planned for the, I would say, first quarter of the next year. But let's see how it goes with all the all the action right now. It's hard to say what is going to be the priority, but it's definitely something that we would like to put together.
Got it. Yeah, with the price appreciation, there's been a lot of chaos, and I'm sure for you, heightened activity. You're trying to keep up with everything as people are finally jumping back into Cardano. Now, from a timeline perspective for V2, I may have missed it, but can you confirm when we can expect for that to come on?
Yeah, so the timeline is, as I said, it's quite scattered because we're going to roll out feature after feature. So it's not like V2 happening this date and there's going to be like everything new, 6 new features. So it's just basically a code name. We're going to start redesign. I hope to finish the redesign and implement it, maybe by the end of this year or very early January. So that's the first one. Then then it depends, because right now, for example, everybody's trading meme coins on Cardano. Has been a huge boom in the last few days. I'm not sure what is the state of that's going to be when the video comes out, but the last few days on the date of the recording has been crazy. Everybody's happy, everybody's trading meme coins. So right now the focus is simply like making the everything real time as possible, right? We recently implemented mempool order parsing. So what that means is simply when somebody submits a trade, it's instantly shown to everyone and themselves. There's no delay. Which basically means that the people can make decisions quicker and see what's happening in the market even before it happens. That's been a huge improvement. People really like it. So those things like that, and those small real-time improvements have been vast priority and taking our our entire time recently, just because people just prefer to trade meme coins. It is what it is. So it's hard to say if it's going to continue. Obviously the priority shifts are going to be to ensure those like very high frequency real-time trading is smooth. If it kind of dies down and it's not going to be as prevalent, then we're going to focus obviously on some core features that we wanted to put together. So I don't want to promise anything because the priorities do shift quite often. So
yeah, I mean, and I think that's fully fair. At the end of the day, what you're building is to satisfy your end users or the traders, right? And so if their focus is not necessarily on what you have in planned or what you sort of have on the roadmap, I think it makes sense to shift to cater to a smoother experience if it's specific to meme coins, DeFi, whatever the case is. Let's talk a little bit more about multi-chain progress. So if I'm not mistaken, you guys had integrations, I want to say with the Phantom wallet, I think even maybe like Solana or different ecosystems. What is sort of the goal moving forward when it comes to looking outside of Cardano?
yeah, so I think there's a bit of like a misunderstanding in what the multi-chain was for us. So basically, what you're referring to is the cross-chain swaps that we had, where people could buy Cardano native tokens with Solana, for example. And what it basically did is swap Solana for Cardano, for example, and then Cardano for native tokens. So it was a two-step kind of like annoying process, I would say, because again, it required a lot of kind of maintenance and efforts and was failing a lot. So we had for now removed it, again, for the same reason that it's high maintenance. You had to always fix it, and also it's hasn't been utilized as much as we expected it would. Maybe obviously depends on the activity on chain, but throughout the last year it wasn't utilized as much, so we kind of also shelved it. We did put a lot of features, and we removed a lot of features. But because we do experiment a lot and try out different things. So sometimes, for example, we had put like DexHunter is responsible for a lot of novelty, and we have been kind of like pioneers in many things. For example, the first stop losses, the first basket orders, first DCA on Cardano, and stop losses and baskets are currently disabled, and also the first. And no, I wouldn't say that, but again, like the cross-chain swaps also are disabled. So we have done a lot of things. We tried all the things. And maybe we're going to bring them back at some point, but yeah. So but back to like multi-chain, there's no, we're not going to add any other chain trading anytime soon. We have plenty of stuff to do for ADA, but again, just because we know UTXOs, it's coming back to the Bitcoin point. We can add either support for, we plan to do a rune aggregator at some point. Maybe we're going to come back to it, but we'll see how the Bitcoin OS thing plays out. If it gets a lot of traction, then there's going to be no need of that because people are going to simply trade runes on Cardano. If it doesn't pick up, then we're gonna see what state of the Bitcoin is going to be there and decide. But that's kind of, if we ever expand to a chain, it would be some UTXO chain. So either Bitcoin, there's a Fuel network, a Sui is a hybrid that uses, I think, both. But again, it's for now. There's plenty of stuff to do on Cardano.
Yeah, understood. And don't forget about Doge. I think that Doge is going to perform extremely well, obviously for, reasons tying back to Trump and Elon, but that's a separate conversation there. Now, Melon, we've talked about V2. One thing I do want to discuss is the additional catalyst proposal that you guys currently have in the pipe. So you just mentioned the fact that leverage trading was one of the approved proposals. What else is currently in the oven when it comes to what you guys are working on from there?
So I think we have 5 proposals this round, and they're all quite tied to V2. So if you go for the list, it's like one-click trading, advanced order types. Then we have a partnership with OEDA, Optim Finance. Basically, what that means, there's a proposal to have mint and burn OEDA orders. Basically, it sounds very complicated, but in short, it means because there's a lot of OEDA pairs and it's going to be like OUSD pairs. What we can do is basically, if there's an OEDA pool that has a better deal for the token you're trading, for example, like OEDA SNAC, and you're trying to trade ADA to SNAC, we would automatically kind of like think for you and route and mint OEDA for ADA and then swap that to SNAC. So it's basically like it's a bit complex to explain, that people who know what OEDA is and what it does, then it's going to be very useful for them as well. And then obviously we have proposals, as I mentioned, for onboarding developers. Currently, DexHunter is in over 50 Cardano projects, our infrastructure and counting in all the major dApps it is. So no matter which app you use, you will probably see our swaps or our API integrated there. So what we want to move it forward, and we want to expose the API for just solo developers for free completely. And it'll include all the swap infrastructure, the prices, the tokens, all the verifications and stuff, to use, build projects. And there are a lot of developers who use our API to build scripts, which is basically like, somebody has their own strategies they want to accomplish. For example, trade this token in those ranges, or only buy this token if it drops to this price. So they kind of use our API to build those custom apps for themselves for personal use. So we want to make sure that any developer can use that and can use it for free. So those are I think the proposals that we have from our side, and also we have 2 shared proposals. One is with bubble maps, onboarding bubble maps. We get no money from that. It's just we're kind of our name is there for exposure. For people who don't know, bubble maps is a multi-chain chain visualization platform, I would say it. So basically what it allows you to do is to see the current distribution of the token in a really nice and easy way. And now they added the historical token distribution. So you can basically see which clusters held the majority of tokens. It helps you to make informed decisions. Basically, if you see, okay, well, somebody owned 50% of the token and then he spread it into a bunch of multiple wallets, and then it's kind of like that something is up, maybe you won't trade this token. So Mabumos is a super well-known project, and it would be very nice if they get funded, and they would add Cardano support, because I believe they have all the there you go. So they have it's a super simple and nice UI, and super powerful to make. Again, people who have ever used Bubble must know what I'm talking about, and they have all the VM chains and Solana, I think, right now. So yeah, I hope they add Cardano. And then we have one proposal of Vesper to integrate stable swaps, which didn't get funded last round, and hopefully gets funded this round. So that's really about it. So we really try to put the proposals that are not just for the sake of it, and actually are going to be interesting to people and useful, right? So for example, one-click trading doesn't exist, never existed, and it's very, very prominent and used in other chains. Pretty much, on Solana, everybody trades with an app. If you don't trade with this one-click thing, that real-time thing, then you're at a disadvantage. So that's what we also want to accomplish and reduce kind of errors. Also, one proposal for gamification. So basically, we would have a token leaderboard, some awards, and also try to like maybe have a trader ranking as well. So to also incentivize, this kind of a playfulness of trading, to say. So we really try to put proposals that that community would like, and we've listened for 14 months of the feedback, and try to go from there, and we keep doing that every day. So we didn't want to just put something of like that wouldn't matter, but what actually people asked, and I think would be useful for everyone.
Yeah, again, going back to the point of listening to your community, I think that's very paramount to understand the direction that you want, that you should be taking the platform in. I'll go ahead and leave the links to all those proposals down below. If you're able to share those with me, I definitely appreciate that. As we get ready to wrap up the conversation around DexHunter specifically, is there anything else that you want to highlight or that you think is important to share here with the community? And once you're wrapped up with that bit, I want to talk a little bit about liquidity and DeFi.
For sure. No, I mean, everybody knows DexHunter code trades on Cardano. People know that's the smoothest, quickest, best trading platform. So, if the only thing I want to add is to thank you for everyone who supported us throughout since launch. Basically, it's been 14 months, and it's been rather kind of it's been a bear market. We launched at like ADA had been 25 cents, I think, when we just launched. And then ADA ran up to 80 in winter. So it's been like ups and downs, how sentiment changes. So, we've been through happy people, angry people, disappointed people. So, but we get a lot of support. People still use DexHunter, and it's #1 Dapp on Cardano by majority of the metrics. So I'm very thankful to people who keep supporting and using us.
Yeah, I've mentioned this before, how quickly you guys came to market. And the UI, I think that has really, really been the piece that stands out for me when I'm using your platform. As a builder, kudos to you guys for sticking it out. I think now you're really going to start to see, right, all of that hard work beginning to pay off. And as you mentioned, building during the bear when people and sentiment was down, I think over the course of the next couple of months, you're going to see a completely different ecosystem and a completely different vibe around DexHunter. So I definitely want to say thank you for that there, Melon. Let's just generally back up a little bit, right? And DexHunter aside, talk about liquidity and just the adoption of the chain. I know that that's been a really big problem here. And of course, in the last 3 weeks alone, active addresses shooting up from roughly around 20 to 25,000 wallets, all the way to right now around 70 to 80,000 active addresses. So a really nice bump up in terms of people acting on chain. Now, obviously, I think a lot of that stems from the recent price action, but I'd love to hear right from you or from someone who's a builder here, very close to the ground. What are your thoughts as to how we can grow adoption and what potential help could we get from some of the founding entities, if any, in order to really get Cardano to where it needs to be?
For sure. I'm pretty sure I'm going to sound like a broken record for what community has been saying for years. But it also comes down to, for example, when the L1 coin, right, the ADA doesn't perform well, it doesn't matter how good of an ecosystem it is. Sometimes, because how do you onboard users? For the most part, especially traders, like they see Solana perform like, went 100% up in the last month, for example, and then they're like, okay, I'm going to go trade there because, it's kind of like a pre-marketing. If a lot of people check coin market cap rankings, and ultimately the coin price matters a lot for everything, for sentiment, for kind of if the price goes up, that means the ecosystem is doing well. That's kind of the mindset of most people. So Cardano was in a unique position that the ecosystem was growing rapidly and there has been huge improvements, but the ADA price was not reflecting that. So now it's kind of, I would say now it's better, right? ADA increased like 250% in the past 2 weeks. So now it's kind of like evening out. We're still a lot to go, but I think that's why we have a lot of user inflow, just because they see, okay, like there must be huge ecosystem now because Cardano went to like number 8 in the coin market cap. So it's like ultimately a lot of people, a lot of traders, a lot of actual chain users do watch those metrics and see okay, there's a lot of volume now because you have DeFi Llama aggregator metrics, and you have bunch of clusters that show volume. And I think a lot of people check Dune Analytics and Dex Screener and Dex Tools and Bubble Maps, and only recently Cardano was starting to get added there. So even if you wanted to search for it and wanted to see it, it's just not there. You would never be able to find it because they simply didn't have integrations. So now that's shifting. I think Dex Tools is very close to launch as well. We're working with Dapp Tools to onboard them right now. So finally, Cardano both gets kind of price appreciation and visibility. So it's like a perfect storm for huge new user inflow. And for example, like for our side, we saw as well like almost 300% increase since 3 weeks ago in user metrics. And obviously that brings users are everything. So the more users, the more liquidity, the more trading volume. Is kind of a snowball effect. That's why you see the chains that have picked up in those metrics just keep picking up, because that's a network effect. If all your friends are using Solana or trading on Solana, you're most likely to trade on Solana. So I think that part was really missing of Cardano, and now it's finally picking up. And yeah, it's great to see. Obviously, starting with meme coins, then probably that's ultimately right now that's the kind of narrative. So people will check the meme coins and then they will check the chain. So hopefully that's kind of the I think our Cardano community has been quite hostile against meme coins, but maybe now it's changing. Like I once made a poll of like should we add this toggle, and the toggle was like a meme mode for DexHunter. We still have it, and then like more than 0.5% or like at least half were like no. So so people don't really like meme coins, but still, like it's just what people trade the most nowadays. It is what it is. So hopefully, at least from that little like meme coin season that we have right now, we're gonna onboard more people, and then because people are gonna see the price appreciation, they're gonna check the chain, and we as ourselves are gonna finally have this snowball effect, because the experience on Cardano compared to a year or 2 years ago is tremendously different. Everything, if before people were struggling to trade, everything was laggy. Now you have Vesper, Tokyo, Dapp Tools, DexHunter, Splash is doing really well in terms of speed. Sunday is also very stable, and MinSwap as usual. And then you have Snack Fund, Launchpad. So you have all those big dApps that offer quite a good trading experience right now, and so everything is coming together for Cardano, and we didn't have to sacrifice decentralization in the process, and also we have a bunch of more improvements of speed and scalability coming in. So it's finally coming together, and price is starting to reflect that.
Very nicely said. You mentioned price, which is one piece of the puzzle. You mentioned visibility, which I think those meme coins are now finally bringing. And then you also talked about the smooth user experience with platforms that are now finally able to take advantage of Plutus V2 and hopefully Plutus V3. I actually just got off of an interview with the Delta DeFi team, who's bringing on high frequency trading using Hydra. And I've actually got a live stream in an hour with Trim, the product manager from Hydra. So I think that we're really about to see Cardano take its final form here, especially with throughput and scalability. And at that point, as you've mentioned, we've already sort of figured out decentralization and security. That is, I think, just the very last missing piece. And so I'm excited to be here at such an early time. And I know that you are as well. And I think that, everybody who's contributed here into this ecosystem can definitely get ready for a new wave of users and an even bigger and a faster growing community. Now, Melon, that I think will bring us here to the end for today's interview. I definitely do appreciate it. I know we had a couple of bumps in the road there, but it was a good one nonetheless. For anybody who's watching right now, right, whether you're watching at home, on the road, at work, whatever the case is, if you've enjoyed today's content, breaking down everything that's going on with DexHunter, we've discussed what their recent achievements were and exactly what we can expect with V2. Again, that includes advanced order types, the bubble maps integration, Dex Screener integrations, and then as Melon has mentioned, there's quite a bit of different catalyst proposals in the pipes. So go ahead and make sure to check them out. But if you guys have enjoyed this content, number one, make sure to smash that thumbs up. Number two, if it's your first time stopping by Dapp Central and you want more content like this, highlighting and reviewing all the biggest builders here in Cardano, consider subscribing to the channel. And last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about any of the topics that we discussed here as a part of today's video, please leave a comment down below. Make sure to get those over to Melon. That will do it here again. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers, everybody. Take care.
Cheers. Bye-bye.